This is a session about bringing joy back to work. Not the fake kind of forced kind that you only get on a wellness day, but the kind that really melts tension. It clears brain fog. It makes people brilliant again. I'm Tové Kane, and I'm the kind of person who believes that play belongs in the boardroom because it is the root of creativity, innovation, implementation, and this is the energy that businesses need to go forward in an uncertain market. Let me explain more. I call it the business of play, where wellness meets results. Imagine a workplace that laughs more and burns out less. Is that something that would appeal to you? Better communication, team harmony, more energy and focus, less stress, more joy. The kind of place where on the Monday morning when the alarm goes off, you're actually keen to go there. What if laughter could fix more than your mood? Is there a place for laughter in your business? My point is, there is, and I want to show you why. Most people are writing this little note to themselves, don't quit. But every day they're just on the edge of it. Why don't we do something better? Here's what we know. The reality is people are under pressure, enormous stress, anxiety, depression. How can we look after people and show them that they matter and together get the right kind of teamwork going and performance for the group as a whole? How do we do that really? And how do we sustain it? That's what we want to look at. Here's the truth. We're dealing with conflict and miscommunication. This is one of the keys in all of the research that I've done ahead of the business of play. This came up as the number one problem. Conflict, miscommunication. The other thing that people are telling me is that they have mental fatigue and brain fog. There's just too much going on and they can't concentrate. They can't take it all. There is a stress overload. This is a serious situation and we're seeing it on a global platform. When we consider that most companies actually happen internationally, in other words, they are composites of companies that are based in different places around the world, we've got different cultures emerging, and we've got this one common thing, stress and the overload. What can we do about it? Well, who am I to be telling you about the business of play? I come from a background of broadcasting. I've been 36 years in radio. I used to host my own television program. I'm a keynote speaker, and I'm also multi-award-winning presenter. I write books. I love writing books. I love sport and play. And I work with my sister Lisa, who's a fantastic artist. And we do a tremendous amount to bring the joy of wellness to people. And I know what it's like not to have joy because I've been in a place where I've gone into deep depressions. I had a very serious health scare at one stage and ended up having to have a dual chamber pacemaker inserted. It followed a very serious line of health issues. And so I know how important it is to let go of stress and how important it is to cultivate and curate joy, which is the fuel of life. So let's go on and carry on looking at this business of play. So we've established we've got conflict and miscommunication, mental fatigue and brain fog, and stress overload. I didn't mention also that I'm a laughter yoga master trainer and ambassador. I teach people about laughter for wellness. It's that holistic practice that offers mental, physical, emotional relief, and it does it almost instantaneously, as people find out in my sessions. So what are we looking at when we talk about the conflict and miscommunication? We want to expand on that and see what does that mean for the business. It means that there's more tension, there's stress, there's a loss of productivity. As far as that mental fatigue goes, we're seeing low focus, less creativity. And what about that all-important stress overload? Absenteeism, that costs multi-billions of pounds with people away from work. There's burnout, there's poor morale. We've got a lot to do, but we need to approach it in a different way. We need to approach it with a new perspective. And this is what the business of play offers us. And you'll be able to discover how play and laughter can turn workplace stress into strength, where people are proud to be at work, where they're happy to be there, where they want to be there. Imagine a workplace that laughs more and burns out less. Would you like to be at a place like that? Do you want to lead a place like that? Where there's better communication and team harmony, where there's more energy and focus, there's less stress but more joy, and it's real, it's tangible, it's lasting, and it's measurable. It makes a difference to the bottom line. Why would I say that laughter belongs at work? Because I've seen it. I've done so many sessions in corporate environments where I've taken people that were not cohesive at all, a lot of conflict, a lot of stress, and I was able to bring them together in a way that they thought was unimaginable, changing the outcome of that business. When teams laugh together, it's not as a gimmick. It's as a practiced tool. There's several powerful things that happen. The first is that conflict melts away. Shared laughter breaks down tension. It diffuses defensiveness and it opens up channels for empathy. Team cohesion strengthens. You build trust very quickly when you laugh with somebody, and that soon becomes the glue of collaboration. Energy and focus rise. Laughter break resets the body, it ramps up circulation, and it sharpens brain clarity. There's an immunity boost as well, and we've seen how precious and how valuable immunity is for people. Our health is so important, and we need to have that mental health as well, so that the morale is really at the heightened level. So if we can elevate both of those, we are onto something. Laughter reduces cortisol and it strengthens the immune response. So these are two essentials for a resilient team, and we're getting it by the simple act of games and laughter that are directly related and connected to the business, but that feel more playful. Communication improves. We notice that people become more open, expressive, more authentic after laughter practices, and absenteeism drops. The big cost to companies is that absenteeism. When stress levels fall, burnout and sick days also tend to plummet. It changes the face of the business. The business of play is an imperative. It is not fluff. Workplace well-being programs, they often feel like optional perks. You'll get yoga mats, smoothies, maybe some fun Fridays, casual jerseys in the festive season. But here's why play, joy, and laughter should be your core strategy. Stress is the #1 drag on productivity, engagement, and retention. Laughter is a low-cost, high-impact antidote. Cultural gravity matters. We were talking about businesses that have headquarters in one place, but companies all around the world. And so we want to be able to connect in a way that blends us. The kind of laughter that we talk about is unconditional laughter. So it's not rooted in humor and it doesn't offend different cultures. So that culture does matter. And in competitive settings, the emotional climate dictates performance more than process. We want to have more emotional intelligence. Emotional fluency becomes a leadership skill. Those who can lead with lightness in pressure situations, they are the leaders who stand out. And it also signals to your teams, to humanity itself, that you are telling your team, you are not just a resource, you're a soul. We want to uplift you. And why not have an uplifting environment at work? We spend more time at work than most places, and the return on investment appears hidden, but it's real, because fewer sick days, better retention, higher creativity, deeper connections, these all compound. So I bring you the triathlon of play just as a quick little peep into the business of play. And you'll see later in the presentation, I do offer hybrid as well as in-person and online situations, particularly useful for international companies. And we can do things like lunch and learns, half-hour sessions, half-day sessions, 1-hour sessions, 45 minutes. We even come in for a quarter and see what we can do in those 3 months. What can we do to help change the ethos and the energy in the company, and the return on investment's outstanding. So this is how it works. I usually begin by stating the problem. Then I make an invitation to do a playful exercise. And when we debrief that with the science, it really becomes illuminating to see we had this ability as children to play and solve problems, but we have decided that in business we're too serious for play. Until now, where we are bringing it in as one of our essential pieces. We'll translate that for you into that business value. So most workplaces are brilliant at systems, but they're not quite as good at understanding the human nervous system. And one of the ways we can do that is to get playful when things get stressful at work. We often hear about miscommunication, and a good example of what to do with that is argument laughter. So we bring up our fingers as if to argue with somebody, but we start to laugh. This diffuses that stress and the underlying tension that brought up the conflict in the first place. So as you see there, I set up the ability for people to just raise their index fingers, to wag them, pretend to argue, but to laugh instead. So people can literally go, ha ha ha. You can even set up departments that are working with other departments and get each department to go, hey, hey, hey. And suddenly what we notice is that the argument laughter is lowering cortisol. It releases endorphins, which shift the body out of stress mode. And, you know, conflict is inevitable, but laughter breaks the tension. It helps people to connect faster. And the business benefit to this is that less time wasted in conflict or actual arguments, quicker resolutions, stronger working relationships. I also spend a considerable amount of time on brain activities. These are fascinating because most of the time we are using cognition, but it's in a repeated way, and it's sometimes difficult to innovate if you are stuck in repetition. One of the key issues that we face is performance. And when you can't concentrate, when you just don't have that focus, it becomes an extra challenge to face. But we have a solution with the business of play, and it comes in the form of games, laughter games that involve focus but coming out of play. For example, if you bring both your hands up like this and you say the words double double as you do that, and then we say this, follow the game with me as we go. Double, double, ho, ho. Double, double, ha, ha. Double, ho, double, ha. Double, double, ho, ha. So when people first see the game, they think, hang on, that seems pretty simple, until they try it. And what we notice is that many people are up in their heads and somewhat disconnected from their bodies. Double, double, ho, ho, double, double, ha, 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 double, ho, double, ha, double, double, ho, ha. And when people play the game, especially if they're in their suits and feeling very businesslike, something about that playfulness just opens up, and now we can see innovation, creativity, and a whole new flow at work. So a brain gym switch would be something like a cross crawl exercise, or double double ho ho, double double ha ha, double ho, double ha, double double ho ha. When you try it, suddenly it becomes very interesting. It's like that when you tap the head and circle around on the tummy. People end up wanting to tap both because the brain wants to bring that unison together. And when we do these cross crawl type of activities, we notice that the cross lateral movement with laughter activates both brain hemispheres, and this improves focus and creativity in the workplace. It means that meetings and projects are more innovative, that brain fog kills innovation. So when we come into a meeting and we're like, these kinds of exercises get us activated, and it clears the brain fog in minutes. So teams can think faster, they problem solve better, they stay sharper under pressure. 1 minute laughter challenge. This is something that most of us haven't experienced, and that is when we go to a comedy show, we'll laugh, ha ha ha, and it's over. Or if we hear a good joke, again, ha ha ha, and the laughter goes. But to be able to use laughter as an exercise, to breathe and to laugh, breathing in, first of all, it activates the mirror neurons in colleagues as they begin to see each other laughing. The laughter ripples around the office. And laughter feels fantastic. It feels so good. One of our other games that we play in the business of play is to actually move the body, because a lot of the concentration is obviously up in the brain, but as a result of that, people get very tense in their bodies and very constricted in the way that they approach problems. So by being able to move and be a bit more flexible, then we notice that people can actually get greater clarity. And this is a huge quality to have at work. So we will often invite people just to take in a deep breath, which they're used to now because mindfulness is a common practice, but then we ask them to just laugh it out. And that is something that they are less used to doing. Now, especially with management and leadership, and we see that people almost have that reluctance at first because they want to be perceived as the leader, and they don't normally associate laughter with a leadership quality. But indeed, it is inherent, because if you can laugh, there is an essence of vulnerability in the laughter. And when you can be vulnerable and still lead people, this lends to your authority. So we set up for whole groups to do 30 seconds of laughter, and we can just do 10 seconds right now together. You and I are breathing in. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Just laugh. Very good. Well done. It's the business of play. Unreliant on jokes or comedy, in fact, deliberately avoiding them so that we don't have a cultural issue. This is very powerful. So we'll often challenge teams to see, can anybody last as long as 60 seconds of non-stop laughter? What we notice here is that sustained group laughter improves oxygenation, boosts circulation, and triggers a release of dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Getting more oxygen into the body helps us to concentrate, but it's also important to release the carbon dioxide as well. And we do that in the form of the laughter. So in terms of how this works at the office, stress and low morale drain our energy. So when people are in a low energy state, they can't concentrate. Laughter helps them to reset the nervous system, and it lifts the mood instantly. And happier, energized staff equals fewer sick days, higher morale, greater productivity. When we bring play and laughter into the workplace, we're not just lightening the mood, we are changing the chemistry. We are creating cultures where people communicate better, think sharper, show up as their best selves. This isn't about adding more to do, it's about transforming how we do. And if you want teams to recover faster, to innovate smarter, and work better together, start by letting them laugh. Start by giving them permission to play. It's the business of play. I mentioned that we offer various different options. It's where wellness meets results. This works as a 30-minute lunch and learn. People who have 45 minutes or hour-long sessions can tell you how different they feel. Sometimes we do half-day sessions with teams as we begin to unpack what are the challenges that they are facing, and we customize the program to handle specifically what they are facing that's causing conflict, difficulty, or stress. And we do full day sessions, we take people on retreats. The wonderful thing is we can do this online as well, and we do it in person. And I also offer a hybrid option. So in person with people, but also with the option to have an online group as well joining in, and they notice that they can participate just as well. My excitement is when we can get into quarterly programs where we can specifically customize the exact solutions that the business of play can create. That's where companies are seeing so much of the transformation in their business. So I started by saying, imagine a workplace that laughs more and burns out less. Imagine having better communication, team harmony, more energy and focus, less stress, more joy. It's real results backed by science, fueled by play. I believe that the business of play is something that could happen in your space, whether you are a group of just 2 of you in the office or whether you have 200 people. This is something that is innovative, it is instantly measurable, and it makes something of a change for you in a way that possibly you hadn't contemplated before. I'm Tové Kane. I look forward to being in touch with you real soon so that we can bring you the business of play.